What's going on, everybody? David here, back with another video. So today we're going to do a stimulus package, stimulus check update. Now this is one of two. So I'm doing this video this morning, and later on today I'll be doing another video probably around lunchtime Pacific Coast time. So that would be a little later for the people on the East Coast. However, I want to talk about Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders was on yesterday, and he was on Jake Tapper's show, and he said some pretty interesting things. Now, he is one of the politicians that's coming out and against this whole fact that we don't have direct payments in another stimulus package, which I think is good. And so we're going to play the clip. We'll talk a little bit about it on the other end, but I think he brings up some really good points. So that's what we're going to do today. But first off, you guys can do me a favor. Please hit the like button. It does help with the YouTube algorithm. Also, please subscribe to the channel. Hit that little bell notification. That way you'll get notified anytime we put out a video. So before I show you the video, I do want to talk about this omnibus bill. So I know we were talking about this deadline of December 11th. Well, that's been extended a week. So now we're looking at December 18th. They're trying to put the omnibus bill, so the budget bill, with the stimulus package. So that's why they have some things that they need to work out. And so that's what we're looking at. We have an extension. So December 11th is no longer the deadline. The government's not going to shut down on December 11th. We have another week. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at this video. This is Bernie Sanders on Jake Tapper.
Negotiators on Capitol Hill are still trying to iron out a few major issues for a stimulus package, including liability protection for companies. Some lawmakers are firmly against it, including Senator Bernie Sanders, the independent from Vermont, who said it's like a get-out-of-jail-free card. But Democratic Senator Mark Warner of Virginia, who's been part of the team negotiating the deal, told me he disagrees.
Senator Sanders, respectfully, is not involved in these negotiations, and his characterization is just not accurate. We are looking at trying to give some level of a timeout to allow states, if they want to put in place standards. We have already, for example, in Virginia, put in COVID standards. That part of the discussion is vigorous and ongoing.
The respond is
all right. So, and I showed the full Mark Warner interview. So if you want to check that out, you can. I'll have the link in the description. All right, let's go ahead and hear Bernie Sanders.
Independent Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont. Senator Sanders, what's your response to those comments by Senator Warner?
Well, I have great concerns, and I share those concerns with the AFL-CIO and hundreds of organizations who understand that right now workers around this country, especially in meat processing plants, have been treated absolutely shamefully. Amazon, I think workers at Amazon have developed some 20,000 cases of COVID. We don't know how many have died. What we need to do is to tell corporations that they have got to treat their workers in a way that is safe and healthy. They cannot be irresponsible. And if they are irresponsible, there are going to be consequences. And if we go forward and we grant this type of immunity, what corporations are going to say all over the country is, we don't have to do anything for our workers. They can't do anything to us. So you're giving a green light for irresponsible behavior. That's something I don't want to see happen. But in addition to that, Jake, I have real concerns about this bill or this proposal, which we have not quite seen yet, to be honest with you, because it does not address the economic crisis facing tens of millions of families in this country. We are right now in the worst economic shape since the Great Depression. And this proposal does not include that $1,200 direct payment per individual and $500 for kids that we desperately need in order to put working families back on their feet. It would be a real help. We don't have it. I'm going to fight to see that we get that included.
Yeah, it's not included in that compromise proposal right now. I understand that you spoke with Republican Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri over the weekend. He is also saying that he wants that included and thinks the bill should be vetoed if it doesn't include it. I wasn't aware that Josh Hawley was in favor of direct payments. Are there enough Republicans on your side on this, on the direct payment part of this, that it could make a difference? Because obviously Republicans still control the U.S. Senate.
Well, that's what we're working on right now. And right now I'm working with my Democratic colleagues to make it clear that we should not go forward unless we do what the American people want. Right now, Jake, as you well know, I mean, we got half of our people living paycheck to paycheck. Something like 20% of our population now is either unemployed are earning less than $20,000 a year. People are facing eviction. Hunger is at a higher level today than any time in recent history. We have got to address those issues. And it concerns me very much that this bill is far, far, far less than the other proposals that the Democrats have brought forth.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I mean, this proposal is not even close to what we were talking about just 1 month ago. And so it's just amazing to me how politicians can quickly just change and say, okay, yeah, you know, and when I'm talking about politicians, I'm talking about the politicians like Nancy Pelosi that wanted the 2.2 trillion. How quickly you can change from 2.2 trillion down to 908 billion. It's amazing. I just don't understand how you can change that drastically. I understand President-elect Joe Biden will be coming into office in a month. I get that, but you still need to fight. You need to fight the good fight. You still have stuff that needs to be taken care of right now. Stimulus checks should be in the bill, period. I mean, I don't see how that cannot be in the bill at this point when we've been fighting for this, talking about this for the last 7 months, and now all of a sudden that's the thing that you take out. There's some other things that you can take out and maybe push those off, but not stimulus checks, not direct payments. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Well, let me play devil's advocate for a second, because look, I don't doubt your sincerity, and I don't doubt that this legislation could be much, much better for all the Americans in desperate need. But the fact of the matter is, Donald Trump is still in the White House and will be until January 20th. Republicans control the U.S. Senate, and at the very least will be in charge of the U.S. Senate until January 5th, if not afterwards as well. Are you making the good, the perfect, the enemy of the good?
No, I'm not. Look, as you'll recall, Trump himself has agreed in the past to, I believe, a $1.8 trillion bill, including these $1,200 direct payments. It's something that Trump has already supported. What we need is a compromise. I know I can't get everything that I want, but this bill really is not a compromise. It gives the Republicans almost everything that they wanted. And one of the interesting parts about it, as I understand it, and I have not seen the proposal yet, but Mitt Romney, who is one of the Republican negotiators, said that over $500 billion of this $900 billion in the bill is not new money. It's money being shifted away from the old CARES Act, money that has not yet been spent. So we're talking about $350 billion or so new dollars, when Democrats originally talked about over $3 trillion in new money to help working families in this country. So I don't think this is much of a compromise. I think we've got to do a lot better and negotiate a lot harder.
Well, you talked about that $1.8 trillion bill that the White House, Steve Mnuchin, the Treasury Secretary, was working on with the House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. The Democrats walked away from that bill
right,
because they wanted $2.2 trillion, and they walked away from $1.8 trillion. Was that a mistake?
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. Here was a proposal much, much larger. Democrats said, no, that's not good enough. And now we're prepared to accept a proposal which has, I think, $350 billion in new money, and which has, I believe to the best of my knowledge, this corporate immunity language as well. So that's my point here, is that I don't think this is much of a compromise. I think the Republicans have probably gotten 90% of what they want. Our job is to fight, at least get a 50-50 deal.
All right, so that's Bernie Sanders. I'm going to have to say I agree with most of what he's saying. I mean, when it comes down to it, this proposal, we don't know the language yet, so when we see the language, we'll have a better idea of exactly what money is needed and where that money is going. But it looks like a large portion of that money is unspent CARES Act money. And so when we were looking at the skinny bills a month ago, 2 months ago, that were being presented, $500 billion, this is pretty much the skinny bill. That's what this is. However, they changed the name, they made it bipartisan, and now all of a sudden you have politicians jumping on board. Politicians that weren't jumping on board just 1 month ago when it came to a skinny bill or anything else. So, I mean, Bernie Sanders is right. This is a situation where you had 1.8 trillion, you turned that down, and now we're looking at a situation where we're getting much less than that, half that, And you have some of the same politicians saying, oh, you know what? This sounds like good. This sounds like a good framework. We'll move forward with this. It makes no sense to me. One of the things that we need to do is take care of it now. Full package. Don't do this little, okay, we'll do half now and then we'll do some more when President-elect Joe Biden becomes president. Don't do that, because you don't know what's going to happen in the future. You don't know who's going to be running the Senate in the future. And if you take that chance, you might end up with just this, and that's it. And so you'll get this skinny bill that's just been repurposed and presented back to Congress, and Congress is looking at it now and thinking it's just the greatest thing that's ever happened. I mean, it's amazing, and politicians should be ashamed that there's no direct payments in there. So the politicians that were for direct payments in the past, and now they're saying, oh, you know what, this is a good framework, they should be ashamed. They really should, because they know that's wrong. They know that they were pushing for stimulus checks before. Maybe the election had something to do with it, which it shouldn't have, because if you're for the American people, you're for the American people. It should not matter if it's right before an election or after an election. So I want to know what you guys think. So in the comment section, let me know down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.